Hi, I'm Ed from Chicago Flyhouse, and today we want to take a moment to talk about the difference between using a shackle and using a carabiner. When we use a shackle, we're going to put one thing and one thing only on the pin. This is because when we load the pin, we want to make sure that we're pulling straight away from the shackle. We don't want to have two opposing loads. We also don't want to load the pin in such a way that it starts to pinch here and pull the ears of the shackle apart. That can be dangerous. When we load the bell, we're going to load multiple points, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4, if we meet the conditions that the manufacturer sets out for us. And the first condition is that we have to stay within the load zone. The load zone is an area that extends 60 degrees off of vertical to either side of the shackle. That load zone is where it's safe to put a load on the shackle. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we want to have all of our loads moving basically in the same direction away from the shackle. The third thing is that whatever we load onto this bell, it needs to bear directly onto the shackle itself. It can't pile up on whatever else is there. And so if we have good contact with the shackle, if we stay within the load zone, and if we all go in generally the same direction, that's going to be a safe use of the shackle. When it comes to using a carabiner, we have different considerations. The first is that carabiners are made sort of expert friendly. They're marked with their braking strength, not with a working load. A shackle is marked with a working load, so you can hand it to someone, they can read the shackle and know what they need to do with it. With a carabiner, we need to have a little bit more planning, a little bit more thought involved. So when we're loading a carabiner, the biggest difference is that we're only going to load one thing into the top and one thing out the bottom of it, so that we're only loading this major axis of the carabiner. So here and here, so that it lands like this. Now, some carabiners are shaped as ovals instead of a D like this. That actually helps that process. What we really don't want to do is load out here on the nose. If we put two things into the bottom of this carabiner, what's going to happen is we're going to rock the whole thing. We're going to create a stress riser in it, and it's going to break at a significantly lower capacity than it is intended to. Our big takeaway here is that we want to use these connectors the way they're intended to. This one, a shackle, is made for gathering lines together and for making multiple connections. A carabiner is really made for making quick connections, one thing to another. It's great for aerial, it's great for things that we have to do in the dark if we need to be secure. Now, that's also assuming that we're using a triple locking steel carabiner, right, where we have multiple moves to open it. They each have a different purpose. We just want to make sure that we're using them for the right purpose and we're using them with a proper understanding of how the connector is supposed to be used. Thanks very much.